Hey, yo, this is your boy Post. You're now tuned in to hoodactionnews.com. So this morning, I'm going to talk about a topic, couple different topics. But as you can see on my screen, the first topic I'm going to talk about is going to be This is from Michelle Obama's podcast, right? Now, it's a lot. There's a lot of different things going on that I want to talk about. But the main issue that I want to talk about, I'm gonna put on the screen right now. This is the main issue I want to talk about about Michelle Obama's podcast, right? Is this podcast influencing dudes to do this? So this is your boy Post hoodactionnews.com. Is this podcast influencing men to do this? Right? Now, as you can see on my screen, it says, fellas, don't be a whole ass ninja. You know what I'm trying to say, right? Now, more and more more and more, pause, right? We can see from this podcast and from just the Obamas being in the public that there's struggles in this household that we didn't know about. Now, every household has struggles, right? In this household, is there a male female struggle? Are the Obamas, now when I say the Obamas, just the husband and wife, are they competing with each other? Were they competing with each other in the past? Is Michelle Obama jealous of Barack's success? There's so many different things and nuances that we can come up with about what's going on in that household. Now, me personally, I don't really care what's going on in the household, really none of my business. But what they want to put out to the public is kind of what I have an issue with, me personally. The stuff that they're putting out to the public. Now, there's mixed emotions to me about what they're actually putting out to the public. When the funeral, when the president died, Obama showed up by himself. She didn't attend with him. There's so many different things you could dissect. Like, what the hell is going on in this household? Now, purely off the stuff that she says on her own podcast or whatever you want to call it, show, podcast, YouTube, whatever you want to show it, purely what she says on her podcast. I mean, she either wants to wear the pants in the family or she either does, right? Clearly. Now, I'm going to play some clips of their podcast. Now, fellas, bear with me because this is going to be hard. It's going to be hard to digest. You know what I'm saying? Like this is really hard to This shit is just so corny and so like it's just so. I'm not going to say not black, but it's just so corny to me. Like just their podcast is just really corny to me, right? Now I'm from Philadelphia, I'm probably, I'm from a black neighborhood, not from the suburbs. Nothing wrong with living in the suburbs, but to me, this just doesn't predict whatever. What's the word for that? This doesn't represent the black community that I see to me, and it's not a good I don't know, man. It's horrible. You know what I mean? Horrible.com to me. You know what I'm saying? her podcast is to me is just is horrific to me. You know what I mean? And they're now they're out of politics, but they're not out of politics. They, to me, the Obamas think that now this is from me observing. They think that they have an inside cultural impact, like equal to, let's just say equal to like hip hop. You know what I mean? You know how people say the streets, you know, the streets or hip hop has an impact. You know how I'm gonna give you an example. You know how Allen Iverson had an impact on the culture of basketball? The Obamas really think they have an impact on the culture of black people. So I'm gonna repeat that again. The Obamas, I believe they really think that they have a cultural impact over black people. Now, mind you, just because we voted for you for president, I voted for Obama. You know what I mean? Now, also voted for Trump this year. I'm an independent voter, right? But just because we voted you in against the person you were going against doesn't mean you have an overall cultural impact over black people, whether it be in the suburbs or the hood, wherever black people are in the United States. Now, if you're listening outside the United States, this is in the United States. So the Obamas, to me, they don't have an overall cultural impact on anything that goes on in any black neighborhood in the United States. I'm in Philadelphia, from Philadelphia. Nobody talks about the Obamas in these black neighborhoods. Maybe like 60 and up, something like that. Nobody is interested in the young people are not interested. Nobody is interested in anything the Obamas really have to say. You know what I mean? The older people that voted for them and stuff like that, maybe. But this stuff that the stuff that she's talking about, her husband, clearly they're having some type of really. I'm going to say this. I don't believe they're having issues. Whatever they're going through just was always there. You know what I mean? It's a power struggle, dynamic. She wants to wear the pants, and we're not sure if he is wearing the pants. You know what I mean? As you can see on my little thing right here. Who's wearing the pants in the Obama's house? You know what I mean? Now, I'm gonna play the video, right? I'm gonna play a little bit of the video. I'm telling you, I really can't stomach this podcast like that. But let's go ahead and go into the video. Let's go ahead. Let's do a little video. Let's go to this view. I really can't stomach their podcast, but I know for a fact it's obvious now that they want to change culture. First of all, this is her brother, right? I'm gonna give you an example, right? Now, not that I have the most listen, not that I have the most dominant professional posture, right? But where I come from, who first of all, listen, no, I'm gonna be petty. Let's just be petty. Let's just be petty. If you got a shaved face where I'm from, there's a rumor going around, never trust a dude with a shaved face, right? With a fully shaved face. I'm trying to grow my beard back. I didn't cut everything off. You know what I'm saying? But it's a rumor going around. Not a rumor, but you know how they say never trust a dude with a shaved face. Now, my man right here hit bro, the cop look, who's gonna trust the dude with the cop look? You know what I'm saying? Now they're about to talk about male masculinity. Let me see if I let me make sure I'm not lagging here. So they're about to talk about male masculinity, right? And let's go to this view. And these are not representatives to me. You know what I mean? Like they're about to talk about masculinity, men in the household and stuff like that. For starters, my man got the zip up polo on. There's nothing wrong with that. But they're about to talk about masculinity, right? To pay attention to the posture, like dog. What type of real dudes are gonna follow behind y'all? You know what I mean? Now I don't want to talk that street talk, but it is what it is. I'm from Philly. What Philly dude is going to listen? I'm in Philly. As a black representative, what Philly dude is going to follow behind this dude? I'm just keeping it now. I know all of y'all are, you're in different states and stuff like that. But I'm keeping it a buck with you. What Philly dude is going to follow behind this dude right here? I'm just keeping it a buck with you. Not all of y'all from Philly, obviously, but who's going to follow? Look at my man's posture. Anything you got to say. Remember, as a sales rep, when you do these podcasts, when you're leading people, you're selling the audience on your agenda, right? Obviously, you knew when Michelle Obama created a podcast, it's going to be agenda filled, it's going to be liberal filled, democratic filled, and it's definitely going to be feminist filled up with feminism, right? Now, my problem is when you talk to men into doing this whole ass shit to follow behind you. Now, the major problem that I have the major problem that I have is the men following the women's agenda. That's the major problem I have. Grown ass men following women's agenda. Now let's play a little bit of this. Let's play a little bit of this.
Common courtesy.
Common courtesy.
Can I ask?
Get started. Remember, FDIC stay protected, but also
to somebody else, right? A lot of the basic things that also just had to do with being thoughtful, right? This was like
being kind.
Being kind. I mean, this was male expressions of kindness and consideration.
it used
right?
to be called common courtesy.
Common courtesy.
Can I ask, because as you guys are talking about these characteristics and traits, again, a lot of it is how to behave, the external part of you. But I think what I hear that gets missed, and it was missed in you guys growing up in definitions of.
So you got two men on the panel, right? You got your brother and you got your husband on there. You let her cut you off to tell you how a man is supposed to behave. It's just number one. It's just like common sense, body language. You're trying to break down how a man is supposed to behave. You're supposed to tell her, hold up, wait a second. Let me tell you how a man is supposed to behave.
Manhood was the internal self.
Yes.
Right? Because all the stoicism is external. Manners, common courtesy, it's all external. Protecting, it's all outward. It's like, how do you appear? I don't want you to get arrested, so you have to behave in a certain way. I want you to be polite because I want you to be safe, right? And there's not a lot of conversation at this table about, well, how do you feel? And how are boys being taught to help sort through their internal selves? I mean, it's almost like
bitch ass shit. See what I'm saying? Bitch, hoe ass shit like that. Listen, I'm gonna curse. You let your wife cut you off live on a show to tell you you're explaining anything about men and how men should be, you let your wife cut you off on you don't even come on a show like that, right? You let your wife cut you off on a show so she can break down to you some bitch ass shit about how men are supposed to be. Whole shit. You know what I'm saying? So you let your wife cut you off and then come up with a whole ass solution about how men are supposed to be. I didn't even play a lot of the video. You know what I'm saying?
You're supposed to pretend like you don't have an internal self, an internal emotion of hurt or fear or all the things that are natural of any human, but definitely, fears and emotions that young boys, adolescent men, grown men are feeling. But there's no talk in any of these conversations about being.
Yo, notice she keeps using the word feel, feel, feel. Yo, how many times is she going to use the word feel? You know what I'm saying? Like the main problem, the main problem that men that go to jail have is, let's just keep it a band. Dudes that commit violent crimes. You go shoot somebody. The main problem have is you feel too much enough to get you mad. So I'm gonna repeat this again. The main problem that young men or men every age have, really, and it's not even just black men, but I'm black, you know what I mean, is you feel, so you react and you make the wrong decision because you tap into your emotional, you know what I mean? My dad, when I was very young, my dad said, you've been around your mother too much. You being too emotional, right? And you got to sit and think about that shit. Like, oh shit, am I? You know what I mean? So notice how many times she says feel. Now I know you heard this record over and over again, but yo, the shit is true. You know what I'm saying? And that's why a lot of y'all are whole ass ninjas. You know what I'm saying? Now I'm gonna play some more, but I want you to let this soak in. Feel. That's why a lot of y'all are you react to how you feel without thinking about it. You gonna feel, right? Nobody tell you don't feel anything, but your reaction to how you feel has to be controlled, has to be under control, has to be sorted out, has to be managed, or your punk ass is going to wind up in jail with the soap. Get the soap, my man. You're going to jail. Now, I'm from Philadelphia. It's youngins getting locked up. They're robbing Brinks trucks. This month, they just robbed 3 Brinks trucks. The last one they robbed, the Brinks truck driver shot him. A lot of y'all are feeling too much and you're making wrong. Let's just say this. A lot of men, and particularly black men, right? Because I can't really speak for another race, right? A lot of black men right now, you're reacting on how you're feeling too much, right? You feel like this, so you react and you make the wrong decision. You know what I'm saying? And like I got on my screen, fellas, don't be a whole ass ninja. You feel. You gotta control. Listen, everybody's human. You're gonna have feelings, but you gotta control how you feel. Yo, you know what I'm saying? Because you could go from being a good guy to being Freddy Krueger if you don't control that shit. You know what I mean? So you could go from a good guy to being Michael Myers, or whatever. What's your favorite horror movie? Freddy, Jason, Michael. You gotta control how you feel.
Anyone, father present, father not, helping boys guide through that piece of it. It's almost as if we are raising boys and pretending like their outward selves are the only things that matter. And therefore, who they are internally, how they process, how they deal with fear and hurt. Like that, that's not even on the list of.
No, I would agree with you. It's not on the list because I don't know about you, but during my upbringing, nobody talked about that.
Yeah, so that you couldn't even have that for yourself.
I wouldn't even known how to have it, right?
Yeah.
I would have. I'm just trying to think about the times when I felt insecure. That's internal, or I felt fear, or I felt some sort of way. I could always go to dad and say, I'm feeling this because of something that took place. It wasn't, I didn't even know that I could be feeling this just inside and it not manifesting itself. It was always a discussion on something it was some issue that had come up.
And so it was a problem-solving conversation.
It was always a problem-solving conversation.
Well, look, I do think that is part of the culture we grew up in. Was not that you didn't have feelings, but you ascribed them to a certain situation. Somebody's messing with you. You're getting bullied at school. You didn't make the team. How should you deal with this, right? And then there would be real conversations, but it very much was around, all right, stuff happens in the world and you've got to deal with it. And it goes back to the whole notion of being strong, self-reliant, don't be a baby, et cetera. I do think that one of the differences for me was being raised by a teen mom, and young mom.
Bitch ass shit. Here we go. It's about to be some real live host shit that's about to happen right now.
She would talk to me a lot about how she was feeling. And in turn, I could talk to her about how I was feeling. And so I do think I developed some internal vocabulary around this. And frankly, and I know this, conforms to my nerdy reputation that my wife likes to tease me about, but books taught me a lot about emotions, right? I like reading and movies and TV shows, et cetera. But
so, peep this. Peep game. He's letting his wife tease him about being a nerd, right? So let me ask you this. There's been discussions all week about I've been hearing discussions all week about how Black women worship thugs, right? So how young Black women worship thugs, and then later they want the nice guy, right? So Pete what he just said. She's teasing him about his nerdy background. So what's the opposite of you not teasing him about being a nerd, you being a thug? So if he was a thug, you wouldn't be teasing him. You know what I mean? So you got to pay attention to all the little details. Which that didn't affect them getting married, but in society right now, it is affecting a lot of Black women from finding husbands because they don't want. They don't want the nerd, they want the street dude, and when they had like 10 babies, they didn't want to come back to you. You know what I mean?
But getting that sense of, this is what people go through, and developing kind of an inner monologue about situations. How are other people feeling? How am I feeling? I tried to kind of piece that together, and it was imperfect. But at least there were avenues in which I could have those conversations. Craig, I am interested in what you described in terms of your relationship with your dad. So did that then carry over to how you interacted with your friends coming up? And was there a point in time where you thought, okay, when I'm dealing with Avery or Aaron or Austin, I need to maybe have a different approach. I need to share more of my emotions so that they feel like they can come to me and talk about theirs. What was that process?
So
bitch ass shit. Yo, it's a bunch of, it's really, I knew, listen, I'm watching this live, right? Now I'm reacting to this live. I didn't watch this yet. Hold up. Now I'm watching this live, right? I didn't react to this yet, right? But right off the bat, it's a bunch of hoe ass shit, ain't it? Right off the bat. So Obama just said, should my father had shared more of his emotions to get me to open up my emotions? Bitch ass shit mixed with bitch ass shit. You know what I'm saying? It's really hard for me to watch this because I knew, listen, I could have even, like, my little thing that I put on the screen, I could have gave it a shot and not even put that. I knew this was going to be some, listen, before I made this right here, I didn't even watch this. I didn't even watch this before I made this, right? I knew right off the bat that this was about to be some real live hoe ass shit. You know what I mean? Before I even made that, right? I make all my animations and everything, right? Before I even did that, I knew that this was going to be some hoe ass shit. He just said, should I had opened up my emotions? Should my father or should fathers open up their emotions to their son to get them to share their emotions? Get the fuck out of here, yo. Get the fuck out of here. You know what I'm saying? My pop, when he seen me, he'd pick me up and body slam me. You know what I'm saying? We would play WW. Listen, we wouldn't be talking no bitch ass shit. We would play wrestling was real popular. Hulk Hogan and all them first came out. We would do like play wrestling and shit. You know what I'm saying? Act like we wrestling. I'm a little kid. You put your pop in a headlock. My pop was strong as shit. One time he lift my older brother, and my pop must have been really strong as shit because my older brother was on a football team and everything, right? He lifted him up over his head like that and he dropped him though, knocked the wind out of him. But that was that's how we communicated. We did like play wrestling. When you make the fake ass belt and everything, ain't nobody got time to sit and be emotional, motherfucker. We trying to play WWF. It was WWE wrestling then, right? Ain't nobody got time to sit and be emotional and be like, son, sit down. I'm gonna open up to you my emotions about life and what happened. Don't nobody got time for that. You know what I mean? Your pop see you, motherfucker, get the wrestling belt. You know what I mean? I had to go visit my pop, you know what I mean? Because we weren't in the same house. But when you get over there, we either doing play wrestling or we watching wrestling. Wrestling was real big. Now I was a big basketball fan later, but toys, little G.I. Joes and shit, wrestling, Mr. T, Rambo figurines and shit. You know what I'm saying? Later, Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles and shit, fighting shit. Like that's how we communicated. But me and my pop communicated. Me, my pop, and my grandpa, because my grandpa liked wrestling too. But now my grandpa, he's a little older. He wasn't going to hit you with the chicken wing and all that shit. But we used to always, you know how you do the, you know what I'm talking about. Play wrestling where you do the fake pin down, act like you know what I'm saying. That's how we communicate. All this bitch ass shit is hoe ass shit. You know what I'm saying? And stuff like he just said, I knew that they were going to be saying stuff like this in throughout this podcast. Hoe ass shit. You know what I'm saying? Obama's on that hoe ass shit. I knew Obama. Listen, I knew with his wife sitting there, Obama was going to be on this hoe ass shit.
The process was this.
Oh God.
I felt like once I had kids.
Yo, soon as I hit the fucking play button, my nigga, goddamn. Y'all niggas feeling too much.
I had to reevaluate everything,
Right.
which included my relationships with my friends and family and work and the whole thing. And I realized when Avery was born, I needed to cut down my circle of friends to the serious ones because I've got some serious business of raising this these kids when Leslie came along. And it was about that time that it was probably the first time where I had really deep conversations with my male friends, where you started to understand, okay, something's going on with this person. Let me find out what it is.
Right.
Something's going on with me. Let me share it.
Right.
That's the hardest part, at least for me.
One of the things you've both been good at is having male friend groups. And studies show that the rate of loneliness among young men and older men has gone up, which...
Get the fuck out of here, yo. Yo, so every feminist narrative that's on TikTok right now is what she's talking about. You know what I mean? Now, I'm gonna tell you how much all these women are capping, right? Loneliness among women has went up because women make more money now and they can't find companions and they're buying more cat food, chewy, gooey, whatever the fuck, Pet Smart. What's the name of the pet store that they own? It's a whole. I'm in Philly, right? They opened up a bunch of what's the name of that? What's the name of that pet store? It's this pet store franchise. It's cool because they ain't giving me no plugs. It's a pet store franchise that's popping up all over Philly, yo. And doggy daycare has been popping up like a motherfucker. All you see is women going in there. So loneliness, dudes have been lonely. You know what I mean? That's why they created strip clubs. They used to have the peep shows and all that shit like that. OnlyFans went up. Dudes are naturally lonely because women are so fucking picky. You know what I mean? But you being an emotional bitch ass ninja is not going to make you not be lonely. You know what I mean? And I'm gonna tell you this shit. She's talk. A lot of women want to talk this. Listen, let me tell you something. Put me on the big screen, goddamn it. Listen, a lot of these women talk this loneliness rate of men shit has gone up, right? They all talk this shit. It's all online, right? Let me tell you something. When football season starts, we don't give a fuck what y'all talking. And listen, any dude that likes sports, right? When football listen, put women over here, right? When football season start, between you watching the games and betting money, near one dude got time to be lonely, right? And then if you like, yo, I'm gonna keep it a buck with you, right? I like football, basketball, and boxing. So just off football and boxing, right? Yo, check this out. Just off football and basketball. what? Football starts in August preseason. Basketball starts in October. And when you come home from work and you watch the game, like by the time you watch the game and all that, you get tired to go to sleep. You have a beer, ain't nobody lonely, and throw video games in the mix. We're cool. Like, listen, and then all the bet naps and shit, ain't nobody got lonely. I'm trying to win some fucking money. You know what I'm saying? And in the wintertime, you got all these sports on. Some dudes like hockey. Imagine if you liked every sport. I pretty much like every sport, but imagine if you actually watch hockey also. You know what I'm saying? Football season starts. Listen, when football season starts, dudes don't really want to be bothered with you. On an emotional level, ladies, when football season starts, on an emotional level, dudes don't really want to fuck with you anyway, yo. We gonna pretend, you know what I mean, to keep you in the bag. We gonna pretend like we want to be emotionally involved with you and shit like that. We really care about your problems. But listen, when football season starts, we don't give a fuck, yo. I'm gonna just keep it a man with you. When football season starts, and basketball, like for me, it's football and basketball. And you got these bet naps, like what? Knock my shit up. And you got these bet naps. Nobody really got time. Nobody really got time to to be lonely, yo. So I don't know. I don't know what they talking about, bro. They want this the narrative they want to push so they could look. Now I'm gonna tell you this. This is the narrative they want to push so they can go into schools and try to change. They're trying to change men from the ground up. They want to reach back in the schools and do different shit with men to fit their agenda. So this is one of the reasons I'm doing this, yo. Do not fall for this hoe ass shit.
Pushes them into these manosphere spaces because it's the only place they're going to find community or to talk to one another. Can you guys talk about how you both have managed to maintain friendships? What do you think is different about the way you guys have lived lives? I mean, Barack, you've maintained your friends through being in the White House, but there are a lot of men out there in the world who say that they don't have more than a couple of friends, if that.
I was in high school mostly being raised by my grandparents. Mm-hmm. And I ended up making a bunch of friends, a lot of them who were basketball players, but not all. And it wasn't until later that I realized actually they were all kids of divorced parents. Mm-hmm. So they're all being raised by single moms. It was almost like we kind of created our little tribe of found mm-hmm. community, a found family. Mm-hmm. And you now know them all, Bobby, mm-hmm. Titcomb and Greg Orm and Mike Ramos. Mm-hmm. And they were an opportunity for me actually to.
Yo, you see him tiptoeing? Now this is what I'm talking. You see him trying to tiptoe and not say the wrong thing.
Learn how to share. And what that did teach me was that having male friends I could talk to and count on was important to my life. Mm-hmm. And it turns out actually what we've learned is our families, our nuclear family was healthier and happier precisely because.
This is my genuine thought, right? I think eventually Obama's just going to rock out. I think he's going to rock out and be like, you know what? Fuck this shit. I'm going to start messing with a bunch of chicks, drive my fucking Lambo. You know what I'm saying? Get my face on the money. You know what I'm saying? Like all type of shit. Because now she made her when she talks in her podcast, right? She throws little jabs at him. So I think this Obama is not the Obama behind closed doors, right? I think that the Obama in open doors is to please his wife. And I think Obama's really on some nigga shit behind closed doors. And that's the struggle. That's the struggle. Because why does she create a podcast to vent and shit like that and all of that? I think that's the it's I'm just looking at his body language. This is like, all right, let me do this shit to shut my wife up. She knows how I really am. So I think behind closed doors, you know what I'm saying? Now, obviously, in my thumbnail, Obama's on some bitch ass shit. And Obama, the fact that you're actually agreeing to do this is really some hoe ass shit. But I think behind closed doors, Obama's on some real nigga shit.
Because we had a bunch of friends.
But this is not, listen, doing shit to please your wife like this and behaving, this is basically behaving for your wife 101. Happy wife, happy life shit. You know what I'm saying? This is happy wife, happy life nigga shit that he's doing right now.
We had, essentially, non-blood aunts and uncles and cousins, play cousins and all that, who were around all the time, right? But even with my close male friends, there was a phase, when we were in our 30s and into our early 40s. First of all, we just didn't have that much money. And they were living in different places, so we couldn't see each other all the time. But we did stay in touch, and what I figured out, and that lasted through the White House, as I collected other friends and in Chicago and college, and was just being intentional with your friendships, making the investment, knowing it's important, letting them know they're important to you, your friends, small gestures, all that stuff mattered. And I do think that guys sometimes don't do that. Like the idea is, all right, well, if you're around, we can hang out. If it happens, it happens. But
I know so many men who don't call each other. Yeah. They don't talk on a regular basis. They're best friends. And it's like, well, I saw him 3 years ago. He's my best friend.
Right. And so I think I have gotten better about this. And, one of the things that got me through the White House was that those same three friends that I knew, and from high school, I saw them all the time. Yeah. And Bobby Titcomb became was during most of the White House was a commercial fisherman in Hawaii. And Greg Orm was managing a yogurt plant in Oregon. And Mike Ramos was an accountant. Yeah. But the sense of trust and the memories we shared, and them having our backs, and them loving our daughters, and wait.
She talking about, these the niggas you going out finding bitches with.
We set up this thing. Michelle did this. One of the best gifts I ever got for my birthday was my 50th, and it was a rough time. I was getting my butt kicked in the presidency. And she organized my 50th birthday, brought all these friends from all my different walks of life to Camp David for a weekend. And of course,
let me skip up.
You can take control of your colon cancer, their existing skills, and connecting them
what it was like to be a woman. In her mind, she knew what she was preparing me for. The insults, the limitations, the whatever you can think of, the sexism, the biases. So she knew you have to have a mouth. You have to be able to speak up for yourself. With you, she wanted you to be nice so that you wouldn't get in trouble or you wouldn't get arrested. But was that who you were? So what do we say to the Emmas of the world? How do we sort of start thinking as a society about helping mothers raise sons, because they're doing it alone, and we're being told that we don't have what it takes to give boys all of what they need?
Because you don't. You don't, motherfucker. Yo, I talk like, listen, the shit I heard today. Let me tell you the shit I heard today, right? I'm gonna tell y'all. I'm gonna tell you. I'm conversating with this sister, right? Listen, I'm gonna tell you this. So I'm conversating with this sister, and come to find out, she married to a chick. You know how you be hollering at chicks. You know what I'm saying? And then they let you know their situation. So she come to find out she with a chick, right? She lived with a chick or whatever, right? She look all right. You know what I mean? I'm just talking to her. You know, you trying to gauge to see where these chicks at. So she told me she lived with her chick, they together, and they trying to have a baby, right? So I'm like, damn. And I'm like, well, you know, some way, shape, or form, other than artificial insemination, you know, that this child is going to lead a man in a life, right? So this chick has a nerve to tell me that my chick looks like a man. My kid is going to be so young, they're not going to really know the difference. Listen, I cannot make this shit up. You know what I'm saying? No Kevin Samuel shit. You know what I mean? I want not to be stealing his shit, but you cannot, when they say you can't make this shit up, you can't make this motherfucking shit up. She tells me that her woman looks like a man. Her kid's not gonna know the difference. That's how lost, you know, a lot of these chicks is in thinking that you're supposed to, and you know, you're supposed to raise a boy without the man in his life, yo. You know what I mean? You could raise them, but they're gonna be a different type of breed of dude. You know what I mean? Bitch ass ninja, pretty much. So y'all, you know, y'all chicks you could try to, you know, you could try to tell yourself, listen, you could try to tell yourself in your head all you want to that you're gonna be able to raise a boy without a intentionally. Now the word here is intentionally, right? You can intentionally try to raise a young boy without a biological male in his life all you want to, but when they grow up, they're going to be a bitch ass ninja, just like it was on my screen. See the little ninjas? Bitch ass ninja. Bitch ass little ninja. You know what I'm saying? Hoe ass ninja. That's what I got out there. So a lot of y'all, like I said, y'all chicks are gonna be raising little hoe ass ninjas. And I see them walking all around. They going around shooting up stores, beating up old ladies and shit. Now I'm seeing, I never listen, outside of Charles Bronson movie, I never seen so many kids beating up older people before. I never seen this where like a 15 to 20-year-old kid, right? You know, even though 20-year-old is obviously grown, but the young people beating up people that are like 70, 80, 90 years old, murdering them. I've been seeing this a lot in Philly the last 10 years, murdering older people, yo. I'm gonna tell you right now and up. I mean, even before now, but I'm gonna be an old Mr. T ass motherfucker with the AR. So you could try to do some shit if you want to. I'm going to be Mr. AR on y'all motherfuckers. Mr. AR 100.
Well, look, I think you started hinting at it. As somebody who was raised by a single mom, not perfectly, but that unconditional love as a start is the right one. Mm-hmm. I do think, though, thinking about raising boys in the same way you're thinking about raising daughters, which is how do you make them good, responsible people who know how to function and know how to understand themselves well enough that they can navigate this really complicated world, and setting high expectations. So there are a lot of these things that apply to boys and girls. I do think that there are some particular issues with boys that as a society we're not addressing. I do think as a society we have to create more structures for boys and men to have guidance, rituals, frameworks, encouragement.
Yo, see how he's saying it, but see how because his wife is there, right? He's trying to dance around saying that there's a different set of guidelines for how we should be raising men, and there's another set of guidelines for how we should be raising women. Look how he wants everything is not equally, you know what I'm saying? How you feed cats is not how you feed dogs. You know what I'm saying? Like everything is not exactly equal. You know what I'm saying? Everything is not exactly equal of how you should handle this situation in this situation. You know what I'm saying? It's like I'm gonna make an analogy. It's like you ever see army fatigue for the desert, and then you see army fatigue for the green. The desert shit is a different color, it's different, a little bit different. And the army fatigue, the hide and the green is a little bit different. It's not the fucking same. But he's dancing around it. Hoe ass shit.
To be able to meet a wide range of role models so that whatever their inclinations, they can see a path to success that isn't just sports or money. Making a lot of money, and so that's on all of us together. What I would say to Emma would be, in your community, even if you have a wonderful male partner who's in the house, I think it still would be good to find assets in the community, people in the community, friends in your community.
The niggas dancing. Listen, the niggas dancing with the stars around the topic. There's a different set of guidelines for raising boys than it is girls. Stop fucking dancing around it.
Community, places of worship, community organizations, what have you, where there are a bunch of men who can be sort of elders to boys. And so they're not just looking at one.
Now, the one thing I can say is that that's kind of true also, because you got you do have mentors. I myself do have mentors. My basketball coach from the church gave me my application to go to my particular school I graduated from, which is Norfolk State University. And he gave me the application. I didn't know about the school before that. So mentors are needed. This is true.
One particular role model, but many. And one of the things when Michelle and I.
Now, and I'm going to say that for a lot of y'all out there, you don't think college is important. When you in Philly, right? It was either go to college or go around busting people upside their head, robbing motherfuckers. So you pick and choose which one you would do. All y'all say, oh, colleges and everything. You choose which one.
I first started dating and I'd go over to your guys' house. One of the things I loved was just, seeing all your uncles and your cousins. And there were a bunch of different kinds of men. There were men that were kind of soft-spoken, and then there were men that were loud, and there were men who were
men soft-spoken. You know what that means? El Sesto.
Engineers, and then there were men who were
police officers,
or they drove a
cab.
Yeah. Right. And that's one of the things that I think a lot of times boys need is not just exposure to one guy.
One dad.
No matter how good the dad
is. He can't be everything.
He can't be everything. And then that boy may need somebody to give the boy some perspective on the dad.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
One of the most valuable things
Hey, Jimmy boy. How you doing, young buck? How you been doing? Let me tell you something. Your pop Obama's a bitch ass nigga. Yo, Jimmy boy, your pop is a bitch ass nigga, yo.
I learned as a guy was I had a gay professor in college.
Yo, before we go on with this shit, hey, look, I don't even want to hit the play button. I'm gonna take a breather before we get that shit. Listen, I don't know what my man is about to say, yo, but this is about to be crazy. So I'm gonna give y'all a chance to woo-sigh and get ready for this bitch ass shit that Obama's about to say about his gay professor in college. What the fuck is he about to say, yo? Don't tell me, yo. Now, this is where the agenda and this is where all this shit come in right now. This is where that liberal democratic agenda all is about to come in. Pause.
At a time when openly gay folks still weren't out of line. Who became one of my favorite professors and was a great guy and would call me out when I started saying stuff that.
So Obama's gay professor gave him ideology. You think?
Was ignorant. You need that to show empathy and kindness. And by the way, you need that person in your friend group so that if you then have a boy.
Yo, see all the inclusion rhetoric and agenda coming in. Now this is where they throw in. So you wonder how people turn out. So he had a gay professor, and then that's why he's all inclusive, and why he's pretty much liberal and all inclusive and shit like that. Indoctrination type shit. That's what I hear. Do you hear it? That's what I hear.
Who's gay or non-binary or what have you, they have somebody that they can go, okay, I'm not alone in this.
Yeah.
Right. So that I think is creating that community. I know it's corny, but that's what they need.
And we talk a lot about what we had with our mother and father, right? And a lot of times but we really did have a big community of people in our lives.
Right.
I mean, that we don't talk a lot about that on this show. We allude to it, but Craig and I, we grew up in a huge community of extended aunts and uncles and cousins and all types of male role models, which helped in broadening out and filling in where our mother and father were limited.
The scaffolding for me to pull myself into manhood. But even as I was doing that, though, my mom was still dragging me to art museums.
Yeah.
And
bitch ass shit. More hoe ass shit, yo. Listen, I'm gonna repeat this again. See this right here? I made this before I even watched this, right? Every prophecy listen, I made this little thing before I even watched this. Everything he's doing right now is affirming this little animation I made. Obama is a whole ass ninja. You know what I'm saying? Fellas, don't be Obama. Fellas, don't be Obama, right? A whole ass ninja. You know what I'm saying? Now, we definitely respect Obama for becoming the first black president in the United States, but yo, the agenda is a whole ass ninja agenda, and it doesn't align with masculine men, just men with that realize that they have testicles, period. You know what I mean? If you realize you got sacks, pause. If you realize you got 2 sacks, this shit Obama is talking about is not going to align with you and your sacks. Pause. You know what I'm saying? It's not going to, and I ain't talking about Saks Fifth Avenue. You know what I mean? So this stuff Obama's talking about is not going to align with what we talking about. Yeah, so Obama is definitely on some hoe ass shit, and Michelle. Let me go back to this.
I was still being taken to, waiting for Godot. I remember my mom took me to a Samuel Beckett play when I was like 12. And I'm kind of sitting there.
It's like, what is this about?
But you know what? I kind of got it after a while. I thought, that's interesting. I mean, it wasn't necessarily the thing I would choose to do, but the fact that I
listen, more hoe ass shit.
I did it meant later when I was 17, 18, all right, there's something there that, may be interesting. So sometimes it's just.
Listen, I'm going to keep it a buck with you, right? My mom took me to the motherfucking Sixers games. You know what I'm saying? If I'm a name places my mom took me, right? She would take you to Disney on Ice and shit like that when you like a baby and shit like that. But as you start getting older, straight Sixers games, and we went to the freezing our ass off outside the Eagles game, frozen as hot chocolate. You know what I'm saying? So, I had a mom that realized that she just didn't want a bitch ass nigga growing up. You know what I'm saying? And my pop was there too. They just not in the same house, but not too far away, 15 minutes away. You know what I mean?
Just a matter of, saying to our boys, you being interested in art, and you being interested in, theater, that's cool.
I would also,
boys hearing that, that's cool.
No, it's not. Fuck that. And I can see art. I can see if you're yourself talented in art, but you pushing art, nah, man, no art, motherfucker. You choose a sport or choose some type of tech. You know what I'm saying? Some type of technology or come fix this motherfucking car, cut this grass, and play this sport and do your motherfucking homework. We not going to the art museum. No. Not taking the boys to the art museum.
Those are good things. So that, and I would tell Emma, don't assume who your son is going to be based on some male stereotypes of what you think he should be.
Right.
See, this is the shit that women are going to listen to, and they're going to push what they want their son to be versus man shit. So how you going to tell your brother and your husband are sitting up there telling you that they just fucking and this goes to show you, She doesn't listen to what the fuck Obama says inside the house. So listen, this right here, it just proved that she doesn't listen to what the fuck Obama is saying inside the house. He just sat up here and told you that each boy needs to be around different types of men, the cab driver, the fucking everybody, right? So she gonna get her big ass up here and say that don't listen to stereotypes of what men say men should be. This nigga just told you all the type. He just told you all the type of men. She don't fucking listen. That's the problem. Listen, that's the problem in the household. Michelle Obama don't fucking listen. Listen, that's the problem in Obama's household. Michelle Obama don't motherfucking listen because the nigga just said that each boy should be around different types of men. And like I said, she just said she's about to say it that don't listen to different stereotypes of what he gave you the template. You got two men telling you the template. Well, you got a man and a half telling you the template of what men should be. And she wants to go against the grain and create some bitch ass template of how men should be, yo. And this is the fucking problem in every household, every black household.
Really pay attention to who he's showing you he is.
Right.
Get the fuck out of here. I'm gonna cut that shit right there. Yo, get the fuck out of here, yo. Do not listen to Michelle Obama, yo. So listen, that was the Michelle Obama podcast, right? Now, like I said, before I made this animation, I knew we were about to be into some bitch ass ride and some real hoe ass ninja stuff. You know what I'm saying? So, fellas, if you listening to this, be who you are. I do agree, be who you are, but don't let especially don't let a community or organization or a fucking political agenda talk you into being a hoe ass ninja and raising hoe ass ninja sons. You know what I'm saying? Now, the fact that he's even letting his wife do this with no pushback. Now, we don't know if it's pushback behind closed doors, but just the fact that he's letting her push this agenda of this, you know, this perception. He's letting her control the perception of their family. So I'm gonna repeat that again. Barack Obama, the first black president of the United States of America, is letting his wife control the perception of how their family is. Now, we don't know if he has real pushback inside the house because he could be going home like, listen, I'm playing your games to make us look good, but you know this is some fucking bullshit. We don't know if he's really saying that inside the house. You know what I'm saying? But we do know that on the outskirts, on the outside, he's letting the public think that she's wearing the pants or she's really wearing the pants. You know what I'm saying? Now, I myself, I would have definitely have been divorced with her by now because you're not going to sit on live fucking TV and tell me that, you know what I'm saying? Anything really, you know what I mean? But you're not going to sit on live TV and tell me, your boy Post, what a man should do, what you think a man should do, and I'm a fucking whole man. Like this is where where the pushback is. You know what I'm saying? Ain't no happy wife, happy life bullshit going on in my campus. Fuck that. You know what I'm saying? Now, me being in Philadelphia, friends and families, you realize through the years, now, I've recently realized that you are around a lot of whole ass ninjas. You know what I'm saying? That let their wife control everything in the household, over control everything. They don't have any pushback. You letting the woman control who you vote, how you eat, how you sleep, and how you shit. You know what I'm saying? Whole ass ninja. And to top it off, 1,000% of y'all are super emotional. You know what I'm saying? Super emotional, right? I've had people tell me to control my temper, and then you come to find out the same people that are telling you to control your temper have a bigger temper than you do. You know what I'm saying? Motherfucker, you control your temper. You know what I mean? Whole ass ninjas. So, yo, this is your boy Post. This is hoodactionnews.com. I knew we were in for a ride. Oh my God. You can follow me on Twitter. It's on the bottom of the screen there. It's Post the Mogul on Twitter, hoodactionnews.com. I'm gonna post this to Hood Action News in a couple hours. Make sure you like, share, subscribe on YouTube. Let's get it popping with these topics. I was going to do a couple different topics, but this one right here kind of took the cake. You know what I mean? But fellas, do not be a whole ass ninja, right? Now I'm gonna do another show. Right? You don't want to 100%ly follow no content you see online. You want to always develop your own thoughts, is what I'm saying. These are my thoughts. You don't have to totally align with my thoughts. You know what I'm saying? You don't have to totally align with Michelle Obama's thoughts. These are my thoughts. Whole ass ninjas. It's your boy Post. I'm Izzo.